committee. At my workplace has established a preparatory group of 5 people, and back then I had other engagement, and my colleague participated in the organizing effort instead of me, but I was among the people who come earlier to the construction of this launching site. And there has been a path which is stepped out by so many people, and you have contributed to establishing this launching center. And for Wenchang Launch Center, we have 142 programs, and these programs also include different roads and paths we have here. We have constructed, and for this road, it is a main road, the Hangtian Road, which Hangtian in Chinese means aerospace. And this road connects the technology units, coordinated units, and the factory, as well as the dormitory. And we could see here that on our left, you can see this is the controlling unit. And this is where we issue the order for us to launch the rocket. And if we go forward, we could see that for the whole launch site, it is very vast. And if we go from this road, we need to take a vehicle. And this is an electric vehicle. And we go with Mr. Guo and our cameraman to take this vehicle to show you around this launching site. And we could now sit on this small shuttling vehicle, and today it is a sunny day. And if we go directly forward, from this side, we see the controlling unit, and before us, if we have 1 or 2 minutes of drive, we can see 501, 502, 503, these 3 units. And 501 is where we issue the order. And later on, we can see different kind of buildings, and on our right, we could take a view. And we could see that for the whole road, traveling here, the launch site is full of green plants. And in previous years, the roads were not like this, because when we established those buildings, we had only a rough road, and we do not have so much reinforcement or decoration, and the roads were bumpy. And we had so many vehicles and so much dust. It was not like what we have today for the flowers and plants. And we have the forebearers or the early stage contributors who have participated or contributed a lot to what we have today. And if we take a view along the road, we could see we have coconuts, coconut palms, and this is the 3 workshops, 3 buildings, 501, 502, and 503. And we have this monument here in the shape of a sword. You can see the stone edifice in the shape of a sword. What is this story behind this? It is like we are forging a very difficult endeavor. And for the area of the land, it is about 16,000 mu. Back then, it was coconut trees and swamps and farmland. And while we built this road, we have this kind of story. My colleague has experienced this. My colleague, Mr. Yu, had came here before me, and he told me that there were so many mosquitoes here. And I'm very curious. You talk about the dust and the remote environment. Where did you live? we live within a primary school. And this Diyuan Primary School, it was the place where at the very beginning, the workers and staff lived there in the primary school. And we lived in the primary school as the office. And later on, we could have a view, have a look at this primary school. And several villagers have sent their children to this primary school, and the local people have made huge sacrifice. They have been relocated, and we have the access to the primary school as our office. So we could see the primary school. This place is where we start the dream of exploring the space. And you can see this road. This road is that we have just passed the 3 buildings, 501, 502, and 53. And along this road, you can see that there is the first gate in Asia. It is called the first gate in Asia, and the rocket need to come through the gate. And the gate need to be opened, and the rocket will be transferred to the launch pad through this gate. And this is the largest gate and the highest gate in Asia. And it is 97 meters high, and it was very difficult to build such a gate. So only one story, 97 meters. So it needs to be high enough to be able to go through a rocket. So it is so high because it was not difficult to construct. And we had several constructions to lift the steel to build the roof. And to build the roof, it was a challenge unprecedented for the constructors. And it seems that you are very proud for what we have accomplished here. And to build the factories and the launching sites, so many young people came here. They just graduated from universities, and they wanted to come here. They wanted to contribute to the new generation of rockets. And you can see now it is very beautiful here, but back then it was so much challenge for the people who came here. We have a football square here, and people can exercise here. And the football square has just been finished, and we have the coconut trees. And this road is called Changzheng, or Long March Road. And back then, if we name the road, it is not upon the order of a certain official. We took soundings among the people who work here. In my view, I understand that for Changzheng, or Long March, it represents the important endeavor of the PLA before the establishment of the PRC. It can be compared to the journey that we have taken as developing the space exploration endeavor. And we can see this road sign, the Changzheng Road, and we have the experts and scientists here. And if we have this road name as Changzheng, it encourages the new generation to contribute more and to realize the dream of exploring the space. We look forward to every step of progress. And if we go through this, it is called Xingguang Road. Xingguang Road means starlight in Chinese. And for Xingguang Road, it is named after Xingguang village. Xingguang in Chinese means starlight. And this road is not directly related to the space missions, but this road is the necessary path we need to go through if we need to go to the primary school. For each day, the staff need to take this road from the Diyuan primary school, from this primary school to the factory, to the workshops. So I have taken this road every day for 5 years. And you can also see the dense forests. Are there any snakes or pests? So if we lived here, we encountered so many snakes each day. A snake may be as long as 1 meter, was 5 centimeters in diameter for the snakes. It is said that people encountered very big snakes. I have not run into so big a snake, but we can see in the WeChat sharing that the snakes are indeed very big. And this small road actually witness the effort of the people who have been working here. And this road is called Starting Up Road, the road for all effort. And we are arriving at the primary school, the Diyuan primary school you have just mentioned. And we could see that from the Hangtian Road to where we are today, it would take a long time. It would take about 1 hour if we walk from where we have started to now. And for driving, it might take several minutes. And for our normal arrangement, we do not walk, because if we walk, it is time-consuming. We will take electric cars. So it is very necessary for us to have the electric transit cars. And for each department in the launching site, there is 1 electric transit car. And that is to help us to transport and commute. And we are arriving at the Diyuan primary school. And in my imagination, I may think there would be the funny things, the cartoons, etc. Are there still similar things in this primary school? And this is different from what we have seen yesterday, so we try to reconnect the signal. the forests, I want to say sorry to you because the signals are not good. So we will continue the broadcast. So we have just talked about in the difficult conditions, what did you eat for food? At the very beginning, the villagers have been relocated, and the Diyuan primary school was open for the staff as dormitory. So we just had instant noodles and the bottled water. And if we take a walk, we can enter into the Diyuan primary school. So we just get off the electric car and walked into the primary school. So we could feel the sun, the sunlight. And for the electric car, it is very useful. And we are going forward into this primary school. The gate and the entrance of Diyuan primary school, and this is a back door for the primary school. Back then, some of the village committee members lived here, and we may go to the site where you just lived. You lived before, and this building has been the building for the village committee. And if we go beyond this building, we have the dormitory for the staff. And we actually distributed these different buildings according to different departments. We have 5 buildings, and the staff of different departments will live in different buildings. And this building, we can see it preserves the history. The building has not changed substantially from the days we lived here. So you can see the tree. It was planted by the staff of the launching site. You can see back then, at the very beginning of the launch site, the tree was so small. We have so much butterflies and different kinds of swarms. You can see the very small tree of coconut, just like this. And this small seed, small tree, has grown into the very big tree we have just seen. So we could see that at the very beginning, the working group is about 5 people, and then about 100 people worked here. It is like we are pooling the effort of so many people, just like a small tree has grown into the big tree. The project has started from the very small scale to the large scale. You can see that back then the dormitory did not have the toilets, so we had the toilet on the ground, and at night people need to take a light to come downstairs to go to the toilet, and while people used the toilet, people would see snakes and screamed. So I can imagine that you must have felt so much concerned. So now we see the scene is beautiful, but when we lived here, we had to face so many challenges, especially the snakes we need to cope with. We have the 5-star square or 5星 square. You can see the building in front of us is where I lived, and we have the 5-star square because we have 5 roads here, the crossroads of 5 roads. And back then I lived in this building, my whole family, this building. And if we go forward, we may see the building you lived in. It is behind the tree. You can see there is a sun and PV power facility. So this is where I had lived. 4 families lived there. One family was working in communications, and another working in electronic engineering, and there is another family who work in the healthcare department. So people went to work from this building, and people would work overtime. And the work we focus on here have always been related to Long March 5, from the analysis, evaluation, bidding, signing of contract. The whole process have been related to Long March 5. And we also have the discussion of key technology, the development of key technology. And we had a meeting even in this small room. And if you felt tired, is it a way that you can relax in this place? And there is no recreational facilities. And what we would do is that after having our dinner, we would go through the coconut forests. About 800 meters, we can arrive at the sea. We may take a walk, but there were no other recreational activities. So with so beautiful scene and with the sea only 800 meters away, it would be so entertaining. So back then when we lived there, there was nothing. We planted all these trees. So this is a specific kind of tree that we have planted here. And if we go there, we have the coconut tree that we have planted. And I can show you this. This is the tree that we have planted. Back then, the seed was about 40 to 50 centimeters, but now the tree is so much high. So it has been 10 years since we planted the tree. You can see this courtyard has become so much more beautiful. You have mentioned about the coconut tree. So, do people still plant coconut trees nowadays? You can see that we have coconuts. We collect the coconuts and we plant it, and the coconuts may become high trees if we plant them. You can see over there, people may collect coconuts, and the coconuts can be planted and then grown into the high trees. You can see those. You can see the young plant of coconuts. So this is the seed that we have talked about. If we plant a coconut, we have this young plant, and the young plant may grow into the large coconut trees. So this is for the small room that we use it as a conference room. So all the bidding, the discussion have been undertaken in this room. So under these conditions, we have developed such a launch site. So here, it is a cafeteria back then. Now we could see some of the launch site staff lived here in this primary school. And this cafeteria is still in use, but the conditions is very simple. And for the Diyuan primary school, it is worthwhile to come here. We could see at the early stage of the construction, people have paid a lot of effort, but we could also see this kind of feeling that if we can grow small plant into high trees, we can also compare that to the space missions in China. We may start from nothing and achieve so much. So we are so proud to see the trees growing up, and we are also so proud to see the space mission coming into blossom. So if we come out of this gate, we can take the electric vehicle again and go forward. Here you can see the name of this primary school, Diyuan Primary School. And we are now taking the electric vehicle and go to the next stop. And dear audience, we also take the shuttle vehicle and we go on to other roads. We will have a summary. We have gone through Hangtian Road, and along the Hangtian Road we have building 508, the controlling unit, and we then pass by the 501, 502, 503, three buildings. And then we saw the largest gate in Asia, and we then came along the Xingguang Road, the Starlight Road, and then we arrived at the Diyuan Primary School. And now we are coming to the launching pad of the Long March 5. And we can see that if we take this small path, we can go to the launch pad of the Long March 5. There are so many stories. And for the launch pad of Long March 5, there has been a scientist, Zhou Xiangfu. He was responsible to build such a launch pad. After 2000, he worked with me as my colleague, and he came here. So we are going to see the launch pad. So you can see on our left, this is the launch pad for Long March 7. So we will slow down so you can have a better view. So this is for the Long March 7. The launch pad for the Long March 7. And if we go along, we can see on our right. And here, this is the launch pad for Long March 5. And we go along this small path, we can have a clearer view of the launch pads. And for Zhou Xiangfu, my colleague, he had been exposed to ultraviolet ray, and he lost his eyesight for the left eye, and he may avoid such damage because he didn't have the time and the treatment was not in time, so he lost his eyesight. So from this story, we could see the dedication of the workers and staff here. So you can see the Long March 5 waiting to be launched. And if we take this direction, we could see that for the rails for the transfer of the rockets, and the transfer rail is necessary if we need to move the rocket to the launch pad. So we use the rails to connect the workshops and the launch pads. It was effort-consuming to build a transfer rail, and the transfer rail shows that we take a ecologically friendly approach. The original plan was that we have two parallel rails for Long March 7 and Long March 5, but to save the investment and to reduce the influence on the environment, we combine these two parallel rails into one. So we could see this road. It was the road toward the transfer rail. And there are black goats along the road. So black goats are one of the famous food in Hainan province. In Hainan province, you need to taste the specialty food, the Wenchang chicken and the black goat. And so this is a rail. So this is a transfer rail to transfer the Long March 5 rocket. So we go down the vehicle and to have a clearer sight. So the rail is for 2.8 kilometers. And the width is about 20 meters. And the precision had a high requirement. And the error will be positive, negative 0.5 millimeter. So you can see the rail. The rail need to take the weight of the rocket and rocket pad. So it is a high requirement technically. And we could see the connection or the weld and soldering was a challenge. And for soldering, the requirement was high. You can see this is a connection point. You can see here. And if we use the normal technology, it was not sufficient for this transfer rail because we do not have the deficiency. So we have built a shield to make out tests for soldering the rail. So we took about 1 month. After 100 experiments, we passed the requirement. So we then develop a new technique, a new process. So it is very praiseworthy for you to have contributed a lot and contributed for the new process. We have gone through the Hangtian Road and Diyuan Primary School, and I could feel that for every step, people have paid a lot of effort and have been very careful. So it shows that the space people, they are very dedicated. I could feel that for the older generation of space people, they are very dedicated. They are very reliable. They don't want to have any mistakes. And we could see the signs that the effort here is to uphold the dignity of the nation. So it shows the spirit of the space people. We will do whatever we can, achieve every step of success so that we can launch the Long March 5 into the space. So thank you. We are going to show the road. So I will show you to the next road beside me. So we could see the scene is really beautiful. So it feels like the road is direct, it's straightforward. And if we look direct, it is so straightforward. But I need to remind you that there is a small turn. And what are the reasons behind the small turn? And the small turn is a result of one big tree. So we are going to take the vehicle to see the small turn and the tree. So we are getting on the vehicle, the shuttle vehicle, to see.
来到这条路上，一直都没跟大家透露这条路的这个名字啊。这条路叫做问天
And
路。
we get on this road. So we have kept the name of the road as a secret. The name is Wentian. Wentian means asking the sky in Chinese. And the plan was to build a straightforward road, and the scene is really beautiful. And later on, we will invite one of the staff here to introduce to us why there is a small turn along the road, why the straightforward road was not a choice.
到底为什么叫问天路？好，
And later on, we also want to ask
就是
why the road is named Wentian.
来，你好，我们对，在直播。
And
刚才就是想等您一块儿跟大家介绍
we are having
整个
the
路为什么叫问天路？
the next guest speaker. So we want you to introduce to us about this road, why the road is called Wentian. So if we go from the front gate, we have the Hangtian Road, and the names of the roads are related to space missions.
也提到咱们往前走哈，咱们在这条路
And for this road, it is called Wentian, asking the sky. So
本身是直着往下
along this road, there is a small turn. You could see here.
一个小拐弯，是因为
The road has been straightforward, but this is a small twist. So the twist is the result of this tree.
是这棵
So
往前走看一看。
according to our plan, the road towards the launch pad should be straight. But if we implement the plan, we discovered there was a big tree here. And the trunk was wide, you can see, with so much leaves. So at the very beginning, when we constructed the road, the tree was so prosperous, and we didn't want to remove the tree. So after discussion, we decided that the road need to circumvent the tree. So this is the king of the tree.
这也就是网红打卡树了，是不是？
We named the
我应该
tree as
直
the
播结束了
king,
跟咱们这个大榕树合张照片哈。
as the king of banyan,
这个
of
是
banyan.
已经70年了。
So it is where you take pictures in the launch site. So the tree has a history of 70 years, and the diameter is
摸一摸，
very wide, and you can see the tree is also very high. So I feel the tree 70 years old.
整个航天发射场，您提到了一个绿色
And the tree is named as the king of banyan.
绿色生态。
And for the launch site, we have a concept that we need to preserve the ecology. From the very early stage of the construction, we have this approach of ecologically friendly development. Apart from this road, we see that this kind of outlook of ecologically friendly development is also adopted for various different other programs, including the transfer rail to the launch pad.
我们继续带着网友。
If we combine two parallel launch rail into one, it is time-consuming, but we want to save the environment. So thank you. After sharing with us the story for the twist along the Wentian Road, we get on the shuttle vehicle again.
走到了这个问天路上面，刚才也是老师介绍了，除了问天路，还有一些像探月路、北斗路。
And on the Wentian Road,
很有情调。然后呢，给我
we
的
have
感觉就是
mentioned that there are other roads.
真的是一
The
个
name
网红打卡地。
is related to space missions, and the names have been very romantic. You can see if we sit along the road with so many coconut trees, we could have a taste of the beautiful scene. So there is another locality that we need to see, and we will show you what is at the destination of this road. There is another place worth noticing. And passing through the Wentian Road, we could see the 3 buildings, 501, 502, 503, and the highest gate in Asia. You could see the overall picture, about 97 meters high, and only 1 floor. And this is the highest gate in Asia. And to my knowledge, we could see that the speed for the electric vehicle is limited to 30 miles per hour. And we follow the shuttle vehicle to the last destination of today's broadcast. Just now, we followed the colleagues working here to introduce about the interesting incidents in constructing this launch site. I am deeply impressed by the dedication of the space people here. And for each road, the name has the implication for the effort we have contributed to the space missions. So, at the foot of the launch pad of Long March 5, there was a monument called Achievement Monument, and that monument witnessed the relentless effort of each generation of space people. So, carefulness, dedication, and reliability, all these are the spirits for the space people here. And those slogans and signs are a reminder. And those signs are also a kind of encouragement and resonance to the visitors here. So we could see the dedication, see their perseverance, and they can bring us one miracle after another with such dedication. And you can see here, we normally can see cows and sheep and chickens, as well as black goats. And the transfer rail is about 2.8 kilometers. And from Wentian Road to where we are now, it would be about 3 kilometers, about 5 to 7 minutes drive. And in the whole process, you can see the scenes are really beautiful, and we can see the mountains over there. And here, after turning right, we are arriving at the last destination. And that is for the launching site. Many people have put their wisdom to plan for the launching site. So we take a turn, we turn right, and we are arriving at the last destination of today's broadcast. You can see the stone. We are trying to find the stone monument here. And from Hangtian Road, we have gone around the launch site, and we now arrive at this final destination, this place. So we can see for the destination, it has so many memories of the space people.
看一下哈。这个
So we
就是我
get
们的
down the
文昌
vehicle
航
and
天
we
城
get
父来
a
我们请
closer
摄像
look
老
at
师
it.
近景。
So this
这
is
个文昌航天城父的一
the
个
stone
桥梁图可以
tablet,
看哈
the
是
stone
从
monument
2019
here.
年这个发射场奠基开工建设
So this is the actually a poetry to memorize the launch site.
我们可以给
So
大家一个全景哈。
the monument is 6 meters high,
就在这里。那么这里呢
and
这个
it
我
represents
看哈
the very early stage of the
可以
construction.
说是
You can also see this poetry
范围
here,
文
this
的
long
一个
poetry.
文字去凝结了一些整个的
And this long poetry is halfly in traditional Chinese language.
我们可以仔细的看一看哈。
It summarizes the whole history for the
那么
Wenchang
这样
Launch
的一个
Center.
这个
We can have a
文昌
closer
航天城
look.
呢可以说一个大的石碑建在这里，也是一种见
And
证，
for
它也
this
是一个
long
自己的
poetry,
见证者。好的，
for
我们
this
今天的直播
A
呢
big monument,
就这样
it
结束
is
了。那么
a
我们
witness to
通过
history.
今天的
So this
这
is
个
the
探路
end of
史
today's
给大家带来
broadcast.
了一些我们整个中国文昌航
And
天
through
发
today's
射场的
broadcast,
这
we
样的一
go
个路的探
through
秘。
the
那么
roads
我
in
央视
the
新闻网友
Wenchang
我
Launch
们即
Center,
将呢就
and
要结束我们的直
through
播
these
了。
roads,
那
we
么
get a
咱们
glimpse
下
of
一
the
次
history
再去看
of
看
this
怎么录
launch
可以
center.
继续关注我们。
And next time, we want to explore new roads, and please keep following us.